motherfucker!
Alright, I'm back. My apologies for the disconnection.
Yeah, that was not your best show, Craig. Not even close.
But we'll give you a pass because we're in a good mood. Because we have a good thing going with season 3.
Yeah, it's pretty good, and tonight's episode promises to be good as well. We're doing a bit of a departure from crazy prehistoric slavery right into modern slavery.
Modern day slavery and modern day. Are we jumping
It's
right into
it's a different it's a different and more insidious kind of slavery.
Well, this week, our topic, I guess I don't even know where to start. I guess we have so much. Should we start with the thread?
Yeah, might as well. There isn't really much of anything in the thread though.
No, you had just, I can't even remember how we started talking about it. Did we start talking about it in the.
Yes, we did. We kind of discussed Abaddon Prime and how it's well, in that case, it's a sort of social media scheme that swallows up other people's social media creations. It assists them in creating them. It's a platform that spawns new platforms, and then it swallows up the successful ones.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. We started, I feel like we got it. You prompted just the idea of a multi level marketing cult. And then that might have been floating around for a little while before. And then we started a thread called Tucker Todd, in which we said that it's a social media platform endeavor thing. Because I was just saying we're popping on TikTok, and you keep saying that we're going to take over TikTok, and we're going to call it Tucker Todd. And so that turned into the idea of Tucker and Todd are convinced by a multi-level marketing cult that we could do it ourselves. So we try to launch Tucker Todd as like a crypto scam. So is Abaddon Prime going to be a crypto scam?
Abaddon Prime is probably going to be a bit more of a conventional multi-marketing or multi-level marketing cult, as is Fantasology, if you really think about it.
So we're going back to Jeff Bezalbub and L. Ron Hubbard. Is Abaddon Prime, because we've said in the past that Jeff Bezalbub's like primary ambition is to get back to heaven. So that's what his space elevator is for. But we also said he would have a ton of like side projects and tasks that he would be working on. So is Abaddon Prime one of them? Does he have an end goal for what he's trying to accomplish with it, or is he just chaotic evil?
Well, some of the side goals, these side projects, will be in kind of like backup plans to his space elevator and space station. Naturally, because he'll be working on a couple of different sort of plans for the same objective in case one breaks down. Because I mean, he's supposed to be a higher class of being, and they don't just stick with Plan A and only Plan A. But there's also the part where he is kind of the devil, so some of his projects are really just going to be pranks on the human race.
Okay, so we stick into the idea that you create. So are we creating social media platforms? Because we had this idea that it would culminate in a what's it called, the terms of service joke, sort of about like signing over souls, and most people that sign up are fine to sign over their souls until they realize that they also have to give up. Because yeah, that's what you said. Each level above absorbs the successful ones below it.
Yeah, and I really like that. And I think the way we get conned into starting our own media platform is through this Abaddon Prime, which is it's a startup for, or rather, it helps others start up their own media things. So that's what we'll be doing, is we'll be abandoning TikTok and other currently established media platforms to make our own through Abaddon Prime. And yes, the real catch will be signing over our platform if it becomes successful, as well as our souls. But we know which one of those two we value more.
Right. Okay. So if we are giving up on the current platforms, does our scene start with us having some conflict with our current platforms? We're frustrated over something going on, or we are bored with our supremacy on it.
Yeah, we should probably be in. We definitely aren't supreme. We're not. And that's the problem. We're not picking up numbers fast enough. We're not getting enough views. We're not getting enough of this, that, or the other thing. Like, we want more. And then someone out there in our comments somewhere is going to play devil's advocate and say, if you want a bigger piece of the pie, you should, talk to these guys and do this. And they just like give us an earworm and then we start thinking about it.
Should there be some sort of joke about how Devil's Advocate is an actual like title at Abaddon?
It should be, and I think it should belong to an actual snake.
Oh, I was gonna say that their CSRs, all their customer service reps, are all called Devil's Advocates.
They would be, but I think the one that wiggles at us should actually be a snake because why wouldn't it? The snake is the original little corrupting influence.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh, are we gonna do like an Adam and Eve thing?
In this case, it's Adam and Steve. I'm sorry, everyone. Oh, 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 that's perfect. Because every time you deal with multi-level marketers or multi-level marketing, companies, you're always going to eventually meet people who have been burned by them.
Right.
That's where our Adam and Steve come in.
Oh, they are disgruntled.
Yeah, former employees who understand the truth. They were spoken to by that snake before that snake really screwed Steve up.
So, okay, I wanted to go back to because I turned it into a joke about Devil's Advocate. Who was playing Devil's Advocate, and why did you say that? I can't remember now.
Well, we must have been responding to comments or commenting
Oh, right.
ourselves, and somebody would leave us a little comment saying, "If you want a bigger piece of the pie," or some other bit of marketing jargon that this manipulative snake would say, you have to go talk to these guys, and they'll set you on the right track to getting your own thing going.
I mean, I like that thing, but I also wonder if we should have it introduced to us by somebody who's a little bit more intimate to us, somebody who's like a friend that we already know well or something like that. Because that's how, or at least that's
Oh, the insidious convert your friends and family thing.
right. Like I like that thing. The only, I mean, I guess I almost took a job which I realized was a job that was like a front for like a supplement multi-level marketing thing. But I also was at a cafe once just doing homework. And a guy came up and just started asking me a bunch of like really invested questions about the homework that I was doing. Like I was editing videos for a class or whatever. And he asked a bunch of questions, and I was happy to tell him about the thing that I was interested in. And he set it up like we were going to be friends, like, hey, we could be friends. And I had a hard time making friends. And then he texts me a few days later asking if I want to get into Amway.
He called to ask if you wanted to get on the bus.
Yeah, exactly. And it was, I guess I was surprised that, well, I guess nobody in my life before or since has ever just come up and tried to be friends. So it's all, you're always being sold something, right?
Yeah, you should be suspicious of everyone who seems too friendly or too interested in you.
I guess I'm literally a rube.
That's okay. Nobody wants to be my friends, not even multi-level marketers.
That's a joke. Also, that's a good joke. We should have a character who either we, when we are
Who
multi-level marketers, do
repels
something.
multi-level
Yeah,
marketers? Even the devil's advocate won't talk to this guy.
right.
Okay, so maybe it should be Stan who tries to get us into it, but it would turn out, of course, that it was the snake or somebody associated with Abaddon Prime directly, a proper devil's advocate, who got Stan involved. Like we're the target, but Stan is the delivery mechanism.
Oh, interesting. So we were targeted.
Yes, because we're a known quantity that's looking to expand our media exposure and try to create stuff. Content creators get watched.
Okay. And so how much time passes then? So we get told, hey, you guys should sign up for this thing. We sign up and then we are like just off to the races right away.
Well, I have to wonder if we shouldn't start like seeing advertisements on buses as they drive by that happen to be suspiciously personalized towards us and stuff like that. Like we should start seeing it everywhere, and then eventually Stan comes up to us and is like, "Hey, have you guys heard about this? You should get into this." Either that or Stan comes first and we're skeptical, and then we start seeing it everywhere.
Okay. So does this start when we're like walking down the road and talking about it with this conversation going on, and then as we're discussing the topic, that's when we start seeing the bus ads?
Yeah, almost like we're being watched and the entire situation around us is being manipulated to try and push us into a certain direction. In fact, as we're walking, streetlights and stuff are coming on and going off in just the right way so that, like, we follow the path of least resistance. So when the sign says walk, If we're going straight, but the sign to the left says walk, we'll go left. And
Oh,
so
okay. And
so eventually we'll actually be directed to the fucking building where all of this is happening.
a classic Magoo.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, do not walk. We're like, oh, but we were gonna go that way. Yeah, sign over there works. Let's go that way. And so yeah, we eventually get manipulated into going to the Abaddon Prime headquarters in our town.
As we step on a manhole cover, it turns 90 degrees and forces us down the other side of the sidewalk or whatever.
I like that a lot. That's funny. We both step on it and it turns before our feet leave it.
Yeah.
Well, that was weird. Yeah, but it was also cool. Let's keep going.
That would be a very bizarre feeling. It's like when there's one extra step, or when you step off the escalator too soon or whatever.
Yeah, it would be a lot like that, just kind of jarring. So yeah, who am I to deny the wisdom of the manhole cover?
Anyways, we end up like surprisingly in front of this building. Bum bum bum. Pan up. Lightning strikes. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. It should pan up, and of course, it should be like the tallest building anywhere around. So as the camera pans up, all the other rooftops are suddenly gone, but the camera is still panning up, panning, and then right at the top, in big, angrily glowing red bubble letters, neon, is Abaddon Prime, and then lightning strike.
That's awesome. And it's like all rickety, like a haunted house building, or Gringotts Bank or whatever.
I think the further up you go, the spookier it gets.
Yeah.
So at
Oh,
street
that's
level,
right. There's
it's
ghosts and
at street
vampires and
level
stuff.
it looks normal. But yeah, the farther up you go, the more evil it gets. After all, it's multi-level marketing, and the closer you are to the top, the more evil you are.
Of course.
Naturally. And
So this
so,
is Abaddon Prime.
yes.
Do we know how we're tying in Fantasology yet?
Well, they're a competitor. And if I recall correctly, we've already had Ab we've already had Abaddon and Fantasology kind of butt heads a little. At the very least, they were present uh, in the same episode because we took one of the space pods and wound up flying it head
Oh,
to the Fantasology headquarters, I believe.
is there a possibility that we? Because I can't remember. Did we oust L. Ron Hubbard? Because he was banished, and then he was dripping into Paperboy, and then we blew up. So he's totally gone now, right?
Uh, did we ever decide which particulars? Was it Matthew McConaughey who had Elrond Hubbard in him?
It was Matthew McConaughey, and all we did to him was kind of scare him away because we were taking over
Yeah,
his hive mind. So I guess
yeah,
he's still around. Okay, he's licking his wound somewhere.
yeah. Our once our minds became part of the hive mind, everything kind of broke down. It's kind of like it was like eating rotten meat. We're we're just too sad and dumb. So as soon as we get included into a hive mind, it's an immediate loss to the gene pool. And
Okay,
yeah, I can't. I
so
think I think we decided that he was basically just like absorbed by Paperboy off camera, but I do find that unsatisfying. So if it's not on the screen, it didn't happen, kind of thing. So he's still
yeah, I
out there
agree.
somewhere. So whatever's left of Elrond is still existent.
Because I was gonna, I guess one option could be, since Scientology is post L. Ron Hubbard. Um,
Yeah, it probably does have a new leader. Elrond Hubbard, as he was anyway, is gone.
right. And they would be seeing, and maybe they're trying to kind of move forward with it, and because they're seeing the popularity of, are they trying to, what would you call it, switch up their format? Like, we've been multi-level
Oh, are they
marketing our
trying
whole
to
lives, but
rebrand? They're
yeah,
trying to rebrand.
I forget
Yeah,
the word, rebrand.
they're doing the Facebook rebrand.
Oh, that's good. I guess these are all kind of topical a little bit.
Aren't they, though? It's kind of weird how you try to make something horrifying and it just becomes a bizarre mirror of everything that's real.
In one of our episodes, there should just be an unnamed prime minister fucking a pig in the background.
Nice.
Okay. Anyhow, I just wanted to figure out. So, do we have L. Ron Hubbard in this? Maybe he's a post credit sequence kind of thing. But I think this is the current executors of his cult who we're dealing with.
Yeah, whoever happened to be closest to the top probably seized power as soon as he was gone. So, and it's probably one of their celebrity spokespeople. They're the ones in the best position to seize power.
I'm trying to figure out, do we involve Matthew McConaughey with this at all, since he had a YouTube channel, or maybe whoever's in charge of Scientology now, or Fantasology now, is they're saying, well, we were trying to cash in on McConaughey's following. He was getting the YouTube platform going, but these things move so fast now. We're like 5 platforms away. We got to get someone going on one of these. Okay, so they're competing with Abaddon Prime. I'm just trying to figure out what the story is.
Well, yeah, because if they're going to compete, they kind of have to be trying to do the same thing. And Abaddon Prime is trying to basically make everybody into, instead of selling supplements or this or that individual products, they're trying to create media brands. And in the same way that they are trying to get, in the same way that multi-level marketing, God, I'm just going to call it MLM. It's too hard to say with a dry mouth.
You're right.
uh, MLMs are always trying to get their people to convert more people. So I suppose in this instance that not only is Abaddon Prime out there to get everybody to create their own little media platforms, but they're trying to make them kind of get followers and bring people in to sort of create little media companies who will then recruit more people into those little media companies.
Right, and
Kind
Abaddon
of like how
Prime
YouTube's little media conglomerates work.
is Abaddon Prime's end game, because YouTube's game is data. Are we do we are these pyramids that are fictional pyramids? Is their end game data? I think it's more interesting because is Abaddon Prime's end game slaves? You get absorbed into the pyramid, and then everybody on the bottom tier gets shipped up the space elevator.
Oh yeah, I kind of forgot that slave labor was a major export to the space station up there.
Do we want to make it literal, or do we want to play with it and make it a little bit more poetic?
Well, remember that it's Abaddon doing this. That means Beelzebub is in charge, and he's the devil, which means like planet-wide corruption so that everybody goes to hell is probably part of the deal. So I think it's not just about getting slaves, it's well, like most MLMs, it's about converting other people, but in this case it's about converting them through media platforms by
Right.
by
Well,
by
because
corrupting them and making them naughty.
yeah, that's why we said that the fine print for Abaddon was you sign over the soul, because his intention is to take your soul to hell.
Yes, because whatever space elevator he's building, it's powered by souls from hell.
Oh, is Fantasology currently taken over by God? Is that where they're competing?
Maybe not God, but it might be another angel who would like to see Lucifer fail.
Oh, okay.
I mean, once you get an omnipotent being involved, then it's over in a finger snap if they decide they wanted to.
Are we doing a play on that? Oh, I'm gonna forget it now. The Terry Gilliam thing. Or is it not Terry Gilliam? We talked about it last time when I came up with Fantasology or whatever.
I do not
The
recall.
the angels who are stuck here, British series.
Oh, yeah. Good Omens.
Yeah, Good Omens. So are we doing kind of like a take on that, where there was another, maybe weren't necessarily, I don't know if they fell together or not, but there's another angel who is also here with Jeff Bub, but he's not as evil inclined, and he's been doing some sort of job in the background, but now that he sees that Jeff is getting carried away with this Abaddon Prime cult, he's created sort of like a countermeasure in the form of Fantasology.
Well, he didn't create it. L. Ron Hubbard created it, but there's no reason he needs to create something if something like Fantasology already exists that he can take advantage of. So maybe
Right.
he took the place of the celebrity spokesperson and has now made himself in charge of it in order to serve as like a countermeasure to Abaddon Prime.
So, being that he took the place of a celebrity spokesperson, is this angel also a celebrity who has been hiding and pretending to be a celebrity, but was actually an angel this entire time?
Which one?
The Fantasology, the one that took over Fantasology, the one that's not Jeff Bezos, but a better angel, a good angel, has actually been has
Goodish, anyways.
goodish, a celebrity that's been around for a long time. I guess the same age as Joe. I don't know.
I guess the question there is, did the angel take that guy's place as soon as it became opportune to do so, or has he always been in that celebrity's place?
I think he was always a celebrity, and then when Fantasology was weakened by the loss of McConaughey, or the disappearance of McConaughey, and the loss of Elrond. This celebrity decided that it was a opportune time to step up and take over and join Fantasology and jump to the top.
Okay, so it must have been a beloved celebrity with a lot of
Yeah,
star power and, a lot of pull in order to rocket up the ranks to basically the top really quickly.
I know exactly who it is.
I can't wait for you to tell me.
Bill Cosby.
Oh my god, but we already fought him.
Oh, right, we did.
We already fought him and he's super evil.
Yeah, he is super evil, so I thought it was funny to say that he was a benevolent angel, but I'm just being a funny boy.
Yeah, we fought him. He attacked us in an ice cream truck.
Oh yeah, that was a good fight. That was yeah.
Yeah, we had to coordinate and work together to chase him off. We didn't beat him either, so he's still out there in the outside.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I forgot about that. Okay, yeah, we'll get to we'll get to Bill Cosby later.
Yeah, but we're definitely not going to let him be the foil to our ultimate evil because that would be like letting Hitler do it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah, it would have to be a beloved.
A beloved celebrity who still happens to be mostly without scandal and signs of significant impropriety and bad behavior.
Jeff Bridges.
I love Jeff Bridges. He would
Jeff
be a
Bridges could be God.
he he doesn't he could be an angel for sure. If Jeff
Yeah, that's what I
Bridges
mean.
is God, then I understand exactly why Earth is such a shithole. Because he's just like, just let it happen, man.
I mean, Jeff Bridges or Jeff Goldblum.
Nope, too late. I wanted to be Jeff Bridges.
Okay, and I also
And
like
he's
that.
gotta be the dude.
Okay, that's fine with me. I think that is his most angelic character.
Yeah, he's just so easygoing and calm all the time. Dude.
And I like that both of our angels, good and evil, are both Jeff.
That's true. They're both Jeff. I didn't think of that.
In their tongue, old Aramaic, Jeff means divine or something like that.
Well, in that case, they must be brothers of some
Maybe.
kind. They make the best enemies,
Yeah, well, they have the deepest running shit.
especially after a long enough time period. Okay, so Fantasology has been hijacked effectively by a rival angel, which is why Fantasology is shifting gear and rebranding in order to basically compete with Abaddon Prime.
I'm just taking notes. That means that when it comes to the payoff, we're gonna have to have a pretty decent solution to what the conflict is between these brothers.
Well, there will be a showdown of some kind eventually.
One Jeff pushed the other, and that's how he fell, and the only one other fell because he grabbed his ankle on the way down, and it was
Oh,
the
so heaven is flat Earth, and you can fall off of it.
yeah. I don't know how heaven works.
That's okay. Neither do I. But it's likely that their conflict should have something to do with them being stuck on Earth, and that should be a long-standing disagreement. Like if they're fallen angels, but they're like in conflict with each other for like a totally different reason, that's way less compelling.
What's way less compelling? Sorry.
Like if their conflict with each other has nothing to do with them being trapped on Earth and falling, that's way less compelling. It should be
Right.
tied together.
I believe so. And I was just wondering, maybe they didn't, because I don't know if they fell from the heavens or up in the sky or whatever, or if heaven is actually like another dimension, and this is going to have something to do with the outside in some way or another. They fell through some sort of portal, or maybe they had some sort of tech that misfired, or one of them sabotaged the other. I don't know.
I have always really liked the idea when it crops up in fiction that heaven is actually like a super high technology place. There's like it's not necessarily supernatural, it's just super high technology and so everything is clockwork and like energy and crazy sci-fi shit.
Which I mean would kind of go hand in hand with Basil Bub trying to use rockets to get back there.
Yeah, especially because he's already got kind of a like dimension hopping technology.
Right, yeah. That's true.
But heaven has to be really special. Like it's got to be just about impossible to get into. So there's no back door in the outside to get there. So he needs to go above Earth. Somewhere in the space around Earth, there's got to be some kind of stable portal to it. that's just invisible that he's looking for, I guess. So I assume that the conflict is not just to stop Abaddon Prime from corrupting the world and all that, but it's also kind of to give this rival angel, Jeff Bridges, a leg up in trying to get back to heaven before Beelzebub does.
Right. Oh, so is that is it the classic thing then? They have a competition. Jeff Beelzebub is trying to get a certain amount of souls into hell to win something. Like they're trying to hit a cap, and they're neck and neck, and one of them is about to win. And when one of them hits the high number souls in heaven versus souls in hell, one of them wins some sort of bet or something.
I think that one is maybe not necessarily trying to save humanity, but at the very least prevent its total damnation. Jeff Bridges is almost certainly way behind Jeff Beelzebub in the running for who has more power, more souls, and all that. Because since one is clearly evil, one is willing to stoop to all kinds of terrible deeds in order to accomplish their goals, while Jeff Bridges is still kind of angelic, which, nice guys finish last.
Is this going to be some sort of twist in the end where it turns out? Okay, bear with me for a second while I try to set up some analogies in a way. In the Matrix, Neo isn't the one because he doesn't believe he's the one, right?
Sure.
That's why when he goes to the Oracle, she says, "You're not the one." It's because he doesn't believe it. Is it like heaven doesn't exist unless your mind is at peace, sort of thing? Like because Jeff Beelzebub is trying to get to heaven and is participating in the idea of things being either heaven or hell. His existence is hell, and he can't get to heaven. Accepted reality as it is, and therefore his existence is heaven, and there is no hell. So he isn't trying to compete with Jeff because there is no heaven to try to send souls to. There isn't actually a place for good souls to go to. But if you believe in heavenness, then you get to experience it, sort of thing. Does that make
But
any
if
sense?
there's no heaven, where'd they both come from?
Hmm.
I'm okay with the
Oh,
idea. I'm okay with the idea that if you're not perfectly at peace, you can't find heaven, which is why whatever Jeff Beelzebub is looking for continues to elude him.
okay, so that's yeah, it's not that there is no heaven, it's just that heaven is not the opposite of hell, is what I'm trying to get at. And so as long as Jeff Beelzebub is kind of pursuing an existence in support of hell, then he can't maybe it's too complicated for what I'm trying to come up with.
Remember, this is a cartoon.
Sort of.
Remember, this is sort of a cartoon. But if you're looking for heaven, you can't find it.
I think so. I just wish I had a really good reason for why.
Well, you did say if you're not, at peace and all that, then you can't get in. You can't find it. If you're not at peace, if you're not good with yourself, if you're still wanting and seeking, especially, all this evil shit, you're definitely not going to find heaven.
So, the numbers then. Is it a numbers thing? Souls versus souls?
Nah, because Jeff Bridges definitely has very few in comparison.
Right.
So if we make it a strictly numbers game, Beelzebub already wins. He's already won. Uh, it's just a case of this is the first opportunity that Jeff Bridges has really had to get a leg up in this situation and to start kind of challenging Abaddon Prime to at least
Oh,
slow the process.
should we make a little Dark Souls joke with the Souls thing saying in the beginning we were doing a Souls collecting competition, but none of us could make it past Undeadburg or something like that?
No, nobody could beat Nito.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with a little line like that.
We were collecting souls, but we kept dropping them at Nito. Yeah. But then moving on from that.
Yeah, we're still discussing setting, but what about the story? We've just arrived at the Abaddon Prime building.
True. Wow, we're all the way back there.
Well, we established setting and stuff. But yeah, to recap, Stan tells us about this new Abaddon Prime thing going on. We start seeing comments about this new Abaddon Prime thing going on. So we go for a walk to discuss this new Abaddon Prime thing going on. Guess what we see on all the advertisements that we walk by? Billboards, buses, anything.
We see ads for Abaddon Prime.
Yeah, thanks.
I
And
was
so
guessing.
we it's a good guess. So we arrive due to no small amount of manipulation on the powers that be on their part, And so we arrive at the Abaddon Prime building, and we decide, fuck it, we'll take a look.
Okay, so are they gonna? We are sort of interested in this, and they jump Abaddon Prime. They fill in our sentences for us.
Yeah, they always have like high energy. They're smiling and happy, and they're always, pointing finger guns and trying to get you excited and basically shut off the reasoning center of your brain.
I was gonna say that they jump in at every point and always finish our sentences, but I feel like that would get annoying. So maybe they only finish our sentences when we can't come up with the word. Like we're trying to find the word and they always know the word we're looking for, and we find that kind of soothing. Because they need to be appealing and not gross.
Well, yeah, if they're super annoying, they're gonna even Tucker and Todd are gonna see through that and they're gonna leave.
But are they do they have some sort of is everybody sort of entranced?
Yeah, I don't see why not. They use all kinds of manipulative techniques that are not too dissimilar from brainwashing. So everybody there is getting their fucking theta levels scanned and stuff.
Oh, I just figured something out. Because this is not sorry, is this Fantasology or Abaddon Prime that we're at?
This is Abaddon Prime. I felt like making fun of Scientology there.
Okay, you took me off track. Oh, I was gonna say, maybe it's here, maybe it's a Fantasology. Since Fantasology was linked up with McConaughey, you had just said something that got stuck in my brain, and I liked it. Either Abaddon Prime or Fantasology took possession of a small sample of something that was left behind, some residue or resin from our encounter with McConaughey. They grabbed some little bit of raspberry jam or gloop or whatever, which which they studied and extracted from it the ability to they withdrew a small percentage of the ability to perpetuate a hive mind. So they can't create a hive mind the strength of what McConaughey was doing, but they used what is inside. Oh, because weren't we also talking about how this was a virus thing? This was a virus in a lab.
Yes, it's. Oh, did we decide it was a virus in a lab? I
Well,
just
I don't know about
definitely
a virus in
thought
a
that
lab.
MLMs kind of spread like a virus because they want you to infect other people.
Right, but I like the idea that maybe the MLM made a virus out of leftover sample of hive mind, and
You
so
mean
the
they
virus
scooped up some of the jam?
yeah, and they turned it and they used that to synthesize a virus which contains hive mind properties, and that spreads through people and allows them to spread their MLM network.
I think that would be exactly the kind of thing that a super evil company would do. They probably have it come out of the misters in the ceiling every 15 minutes.
The misters in the ceiling. Do they also have products?
Well, their primary products will all be digital stuff, of course,
Of course.
because it's supposed to be media platforms.
Oh, but maybe something in the virus makes you even more susceptible to something that's in the media platform.
Well, maybe the media platforms can spread the virus too, in a way.
Oh, that's interesting. With 5G.
5G did it. Oh man, no prisoners tonight.
How does that work? Is there a 5G button, and when you touch it, it passes, so it gives you some sort of skin contact viral load?
Nope, it just happens to be a virus that can be transmitted by electromagnetic waves and stuff, which is a nightmare.
That is a nightmare. I understand why everybody was freaking out. It's a scary thing to think about.
Yes, especially if I believe that was something that they could actually do. But in this case, this is a bizarre supernatural virus that was synthesized from bizarre supernatural stuff. So it doesn't need to respect the laws of reality. It can just like digitally transmit a virus into a person.
True. Now, what is our do we say it makes sense that Fantasology would have the McConaughey hive mind gunk because McConaughey was with them, but I also like the idea that Abaddon Prime has it just because Jeff Bezalbub was, I don't know, monitoring the situation with that the Sendables compound or whatever.
Oh, of course he was. He's got the dimension hopping technology and all that stuff, so he's definitely aware whenever there's like a breach with the outside. Whenever anything crosses over, he's probably got a monitor that lights up and tells him. So he
Okay.
knew that McConaughey and all that was going on there.
And so he had some of that scooped up. Okay. Because
Yeah,
I
he
would prefer
definitely
that.
sent some people to go and get some of that jam.
And that would so Jeff Bridges would not like that then. Maybe that was another reason that Jeff Bridges took over Fantasology. He knew that his brother had gotten a hold of McConaughey's hive mind gunk, and
And that's going to dangerously accelerate his progress. We need to act now.
right, he's not so he was really never worried about getting souls in heaven, but he sees the threat to the amount of souls that could be heading to hell, and that would cause he doesn't want hell is almost full, and he doesn't want
Well,
it to reach critical
he's
mass.
probably he's probably opposed to hell one way or another, but if it's almost full, like what do they say when hell's full?
Oh, what does happen when hell's full? Are you saying is there a phrase, or are you saying what do they do when hell's full?
There is a phrase.
When
It's
hell's
supposed to be
full?
that when hell is full, the dead will walk the earth. He's
Oh.
trying to prevent a zombie apocalypse.
Oh, well, I like that a lot better.
Yeah.
He's trying to save the humans and, well, I mean, all life that would be threatened by not just zombies, but hell zombies.
Well, yeah, that definitely, as far as zombies go, that's probably the worst kind, right next to like the on fire zombies.
Not only that, but with the hive mind uh, genome or whatever, I don't know what to call things. Abaddon
Well,
Prime.
you can call the Abaddon one the hive mind virus. They
Okay.
synthesized a virus. It's not quite as good as the gunk that that Fantasology has, which they'll have to come up with a name for. It can't be the goo, maybe it's the stew, but whatever the gunk is, the virus spreads faster, but it's less potent, it's less effective, but it has a wider reach. So it's quantity over quality.
And not only, yeah, okay, so he's trying to send more souls to hell so that it can turn into a zombie apocalypse, which he can then infect with hive mind virus so that it becomes zombie hive minds, which makes everything now they're worse.
Yeah, Wrecking Earth is definitely one of Basil Bub's favorite side projects, and corrupting people with this virus will definitely help Hell surge and reach this critical mass where they get the zombie thing going on.
And he's just kind of he just even if I never make it to heaven, at least everybody else can burn in hell with me, or I can bring hell. Oh my god, I can't write. I can bring a little bit of hell to everyone else, kind of thing.
Well, yeah, if he can't get to heaven, he's basically going to annex Earth into Hell by making it just a new realm of Hell. If Hell is full, it's going to wind up like flowing back into Earth.
Right. So we are at Abaddon Prime, and we are signing up. We have signed up for their.
So have we signed up yet? Like I assume we will be greeted with great enthusiasm. Everybody's got the horrifying level of enthusiasm, smiles. Everybody's super happy, and everything sounds really, really, really coached, and everybody seems brainwashed. We probably get like cartoon shoved into a room. Like somebody comes up behind us and just like walks with their hands in front of them, and we skid along the floor. You know, we don't fall down or anything, but they take us off to a room and we're immediately sitting in front of two forms with our names and everything already filled out on them. The only thing that's blank is our signature. They're like, blah, 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 we've been expecting you.
Oh, should we be given a choice then to be a little bit more storytelling and narrative and whatnot? We are given this opportunity to sign our names, and we do what is it? We reject the call to adventure. We're like, we don't sign our names on anything. We hate signing names. And they're like, okay, well, take it with you and think about it. It's magic or whatever. So if you sign your name on it, we'll know or something like that. And then as we're walking away, being given time to think about it, we get approached by Fantasology, and they give us their pitch, which sounds way more benevolent, but we won't get any followers. And so we make the choice to be like, oh, well, we obviously have to go with Abaddon Prime. We need followers.
Yeah, that's what this was all about, wasn't it? And then, oh, it's probably, since this is a devil deal, blood probably works too. We don't even have to sign our names on it.
It just needs like a drop of blood.
Yeah, did you ever see that movie? I forget what it was called. It had dinosaurs in it. It was a cartoon. I think it was We're Back or something.
We're back, yeah.
Yeah, and everybody had to sign that contract in blood with a
For
little
like the
prick,
Crow Man.
yeah, with a little prick from their thumb. So I think super cool evil contracts don't need your name. They just need your blood on them.
So do we get blood on it in a funny accidental way or a funny on purpose way?
I think it would be pretty funny if we got blood on them in like an accidental way. Like each of them wound up with like a bloody handprint on them, but we might kind of void it a little bit by accidentally bleeding on the wrong contract.
Or does somebody else accidentally get their blood on it and then we see something terrible happen to them? I don't know about that. And we have to take them back. We need new contracts. Somebody else got sucked into your trap.
Oh, somebody else got sucked into it, so we want a new one.
Yeah.
Something went wrong, but we still trust you. Can we have a new contract?
You know, we had a chance to dodge a bullet and we still took the bullet.
Fantasology coming up to us with a much more benevolent deal is our chance to dodge that bullet. So we take the contract home, we talk it over, we have both of them, and we talk it over with Stan and Craig. Stan is still a shill for Abaddon Prime, so we know where his vote is, and we look it over and we kind of go back and forth and we decide that the deal with Fantasology just won't get us any more than we already have right now, which makes it zero sum as a choice. Like there's no reason to sign it at all instead of doing what we're just doing now. So we decide we're going to go with Abaddon Prime. Do we sign now and then bring the contracts back, or do we go back, sit down again, and then start talking about it with the guy or lady before we sign?
I'm not sure. I was also curious if Stan is supporting Abaddon Prime, is Craig a voice of reason and trying to talk us out of like why are you trying to choose the lesser of two evils?
Would Craig be the voice of reason? Would he suggest that we choose the lesser of two evils, or would he suggest that we choose no evils at all? Not that no evils is an option in our world.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I think he is usually at least it's funny that we've made him dumb, but also he's like usually the reasonable one. I'm just trying to think of that scene where I threw the newspaper away. Like he does like computations and stuff. Could he do a computation?
He's intelligent, but he's incompetent.
Right.
He doesn't care. He's really smart, but he doesn't apply himself. So basically he's like every one of us.
Then maybe it could be something ironic. He makes some sort of like snide remark about how multi-level marketing or MLMs are just for people who do something, and then it cuts to he's doing that thing, but in a computer way. I don't know.
Ugh, don't even involve me in your squabbles. MLMs are for people who blank, and then it smash cuts to him doing blank in a computer way.
In a computer way. Yes.
And whatever you do, Craig does it in a computer way.
Which means with blips and bloops, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess like dial-up tones.
Whirring fans.
And yes, you
In a
plug into
computer.
stuff. What? What's funny?
I'm just still laughing at the in a computer way thing. It really was not. It's descriptive. We go back to the person. Who are we talking to? We go back. Do we need one last hard sell?
Yeah, pretty much. I guess we decide so it's actually okay with the blood part. Well, why didn't you say so yesterday? Sign me right up.
So we don't bleed accidentally. Do we have some ridiculous way? Do we have like ridiculous blades in our pockets or something?
I was just about to suggest that. And in fact, whichever one of us decides to say, well, why didn't you say so yesterday? Sign us up. And then one of us pulls out a knife and carves a nice big gouge across our palm and then just like squeezes our hand and bleeds a prodigious amount onto the page. While the devil's advocate pulls out just like a little needle and pokes the other one on the thumb and then just leaves a tiny dainty little thumbprint. So one of us has been horrifically wounded for no good reason.
Does he make sort of like a dry remark about how like a drop would do? Like,
Yeah, so like a single drop would have been fine, but I like the enthusiasm. I like your energy
oh yeah.
because they love that shit. If you're really into it, they're really into it.
Oh, is he similar to the positive vibes teacher from Community?
Sure, yeah.
The seize the day guy or whatever that was.
You know the type. They're all
The
Multi-level marketing firms love them.
The youth pastor type.
Yeah.
Oh, and youth pastors are kind of big on TikTok right now, so maybe we should have an actual youth pastor.
Is that what this guy is then? He'd make a great devil's advocate.
Yeah. Yep, that's what it is.
Okay, I support. I support.
So should that come up in conversation as like a joke then, or as we're sitting there, as the one person is doing their elaborate carving of the palm, that's like an actually long drawn out scene. It cuts to Tucker, who kind of like glances sidelong at the guy, goes kind of like, "So, what do you do in your spare time?" "I'm a youth pastor."
I was kind of thinking that it would be Tucker who cuts his hand.
Okay, Tucker cuts his hand elaborately. Is it a butterfly knife? I almost imagine like unravel like a long strop with many different fancy blades.
Just pull it out of a back pocket, and it's just like a rolled up leather series of pouches, and it's just all these different horrifying tools. And I pull
Yeah.
out a blade that actually curves forwards, and I just rake it across my palm, and then start bleeding all over the contract until it's illegible. Like it's probably going to just continue bleeding throughout the entire scene,
Just saturates the
and,
whole page.
and eventually I pass out.
That's very funny.
Yeah. So I don't think I have any more. I don't think I do anything else during the scene. So any talking is gonna have to be between Todd and our youth pastor. Tucker is incapacitated.
Okay. So I have a little small chat conversation with him then.
Yeah, the room is yours because I can't take it away from you now.
I elbow him when you pass out. Too bad you're not a nurse.
I like that. All right, so I'm in danger of bleeding out on the floor, or I guess I'm in a comfy chair or something.
Yeah, would that be like
This
a
is Abaddon
canonical part of
Prime.
the story? We just move on now.
Yeah, it's just like next scene is just me very pale with a bandage around my hand, just kind of walking a little bit awkwardly, maybe a bit of a wobble.
Isn't it excessive bandage? Your hand looks like a boxing glove or whatever, or is it just a single band?
I think the excessive bandage is funnier, and it probably still has like a red stain on it, and it's got the occasional blood drip.
Oh, yeah, that's funny if it is excessive. It's a ton of bandages, but you still just can't stop the bleeding.
Yeah, so we're just gonna walk it off and hope.
It's dripping. Okay, so we're still are we still at Abaddon Prime, or that's signed, it's done, we can move on now?
Yeah, it's signed, so we're walking home. And
Or it's signed, so we're getting the executive, like the members tour or whatever.
oh, that's probably better actually. So I'm bleeding all over
Orientation.
their floors. And so yeah, we're getting our orientation stuff. That's probably exactly what would happen after you sign up and probably pay the original fee. There's always a fee.
There's always a fee. Do we instead of being orientated, I never know it. Oriented?
I'd I'd it's dangerous to talk about orientation.
Yeah. All I know is we're not going to the Orient.
I think what I said is we're not going to Thailand.
Oh, right.
Not even to save David Carradine.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot that specific line.
Sorry, Dave, you're on your own.
And so, okay, yeah, I imagine we're sitting down. Do we have like a guided tour? I like the idea of sitting. I don't too many things at the same time. I was imagining being given like a tablet, and Jeff Basilbub gives us a little welcome speech, but maybe that's just literally they wheel in the VCR and the tube TV, and we get a welcome video from Jeff Basilbub really quick. There's 3 people in a large staff room.
I kind of wonder if this place wouldn't have some of the same space age technology as the space station, in which case they wouldn't have their own Craig like floating computer device with Basil Bub's face on the screen reading out our tour as and directing it.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah.
Like an automated device, like it's all pre-recorded, and it's like, "Welcome to the Abaddon Prime. Thank you, blah 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 blah," and then it starts directing us through this place that, of course, only members get to go.
That's fun. Now, since you just said it in that voice, is it even a walking tour, or are we like in a little is rolling on rails cart thing?
It's either a moving sidewalk or yeah, we're in a little cart, and it's like a ride at Disneyland. It's all on rails.
Well, yeah, because that sounds like I can't remember what it's called, but the Epcot ride.
Yeah, it does.
the history of.
And of course, whenever he tells a joke, a laugh track plays.
That's hilarious. I like
Yeah.
that.
So
Yeah,
it's there's no choice. Whatever he said just now, it's funny. If you're not laughing, it's because you're wrong.
which gives us the opportunity to do the visual gag of like glancing silently at each other with the little blink blink. I love the blink blink.
The blink blink tells 1,000 words.
And just to boast, I made the blink blink myself with a xylophone.
I think that's how all of the first blink blinks were made.
Well, yeah, because I was trying to download all of the original ones or not download, but see what they sound like for inspiration. It's like, oh, I think this is just a xylophone. I can do that
I want to know where you got a xylophone.
from a thrift store.
Did you get a xylophone just for that?
No, I've had it for years.
Okay, good. Because if you got a xylophone just to make a blink blink sound, I would, well, I would be hesitant to leave you in charge of finances.
Okay, we're on this tour.
On rails. So
Is
it's
there any?
taking us around.
Are there any significant beats at the Abaddon office that we need to see?
Well, I have to assume that it's some kind of system that's taking us through hallways that actual employees are using, and it's going to have to take us by an open door that's ordinarily supposed to be closed, and inside something horrible is happening inside that room.
Do we see it?
Yes, and somebody closes it in a hurry, and even the recording is going to say, "Ha ha, you weren't supposed to see that."
Oh, do we get any like there's no war, there's nothing wrong at Bossing Say or whatever?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of that. Have you
Oh,
ever
well,
played the Stanley Parable?
no, but I know what it is.
I think there should probably be a little bit of that in there.
Um, do you have a name for I was gonna say if it is the Bossing Say thing. I don't know enough about Stanley Parable to name our AI. Is there a tour guide in that one? Otherwise, we name it Judy.
Well, the tour guide is Basilbub himself in a pre-recorded thing.
Oh,
So
right.
he's a little floating computer with Basilbub's face on it.
So the computer itself never announces itself. It's Basilbub,
In
right?
fact, the little cart we're riding in probably just has like a monitor on the front of it, and that's Basilbub, and it's got speakers in the cart. There's no reason for it to be a separate thing.
Whoa, we make it all sci-fi techy, and maybe there's a windshield on the cart, and Basilbub shows up in a little HUD.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like a holographic display on the glass.
Yeah,
Why we need a windshield in an interior where
I
we're
don't
moving
know.
at 1 mile per hour? Nobody knows, but we have one. And it's Jarvis level holographic display.
Oh, maybe we ask. We're like, why do we have a windshield on an indoor cart? And we just get the laugh track.
We have to look at each other and blink again.
Okay, so we see this awful thing happening. It gets referenced. Ah, you didn't see that. Do we push? Yes, we did.
Yeah, we definitely saw that. And then he has swirly eyes and he says, "No, you definitely didn't." He's got hypnotoad eyes.
I mean, at a certain point, does the hypnotoad work on us immediate, and we're like, "You're right," or "We did, but it's good for business."
Maybe it's just enough to sow the seeds of doubt. We're like, well, maybe we didn't see it.
Do we get any training in this facility?
They don't do trading, just brainwashing. They want you to go do what you do, quote unquote, best.
Oh, is the tour just a brainwashing process? So at first we see the thing in the door and we push back on their attempts to cover it up and we say, "No, we did." And they say, "No, you most certainly didn't see anything." And we question a little bit and we go further down and maybe we see another instance of something questionable happening and we push back once or twice? I don't know. But by the end of the process we are totally brainwashed.
I think it should probably work similarly to the last hive mind, where it's not really effective on us because we're just either too sad, too dumb, or too full of existential dread.
But they would know that it wasn't totally effective, but they still let us leave?
Well, yeah, I assume that it doesn't always work perfectly the first time. We have to schedule an appointment to come back and do this some
Oh,
more.
but I guess so we would before we come back, we'll say we come back next week. It's like a weekly appointment kind of thing. And then that gives us a week to go out and actually try to recruit some people on our own, have some success with our MLM.
With our new business that we're our own bosses of, despite the fact that we answer to people above us.
Oh, yes, we're very self-congratulatory then on the way home.
Yeah, we start calling ourselves our own bosses, and we immediately set off home. to implement the small measure of our brainwashing that did get through to start up our brand new, Tucker Todd, the new TikTok.
Do we start dressing and acting like Gordon Gekko?
Yeah, why not? Just like let it go to our heads immediately.
Yeah, we're toasting each other with champagne and whatnot.
Yeah, still have no success, but we're now just like totally assured of it.
We're financially stable, my friend. Independent wealth. We have arrived.
Just patting each other on the back. Super, super smug about it. We see other people like doing their jobs just wherever they are, and we look down our noses at them. I have to get up on the stool in order to do it.
We see other rich, successful people, but we're kind of looking down our nose of like, can you imagine how hard that fool had to work?
Oh, we're becoming the villains.
Does anybody in our camp protest it? I guess Stan is on board. Stan is supportive. He speaks our language.
Craig thought it was stupid, but what about our goo buddy? What does he think?
Oh, I forgot about Cody.
Cody probably thinks it's terrible.
Yeah, you guys sound like a bunch of ideologues.
Ooh, we don't know what that means, Cody.
And Cody looks at camera,
Womp womp.
sighs. I don't know. I guess I don't really know his character or his values yet.
Yeah, the only thing we know about him for sure is that he spent a really long time guarding Caddyshack, which means that most of his values are probably Caddyshack based. We should probably really intimately acquaint ourselves with that film and all of its subject matter in order to develop Cody, because that's probably his religion is just Caddyshack.
Yeah, I guess so. We're gonna have to learn all the Caddyshack references. The
So
the whole
he
movie.
sees the whole world through the Caddyshack lens.
He sees the whole movie through one-liners. Or not the whole movie. I mean, the whole movie is one-liners. So he sees the entire world through a perspective of these one-liners.
Through the perspective of Caddyshack and its one-liners.
Does he know about Caddyshack 2? I know you made a reference to Caddyshack 2 in the podcast, but it would be interesting if hey, have you seen There's a 2 or just a what's that?
Yeah, I think he would be shocked and disgusted that they tried to make a sequel. He thinks the first is perfect, and there was never any need to iterate on it.
Oh, the moment we ever try to mention it, the entire soundtrack just gets taken over with a high-pitched tone.
Yeah, it's like that scene in 2001 when everybody's dealing with the monolith and it's giving them all a bad headache.
Yeah, exactly.
There would also definitely be that sound of the record skip. That's whoop, that stop, because as soon as we mention it, Cody gets all bug-eyed and upset.
Oh, he disassociates.
Yep, and that's where the ringing comes in.
Do we cut away from us at this point to Fantasology, who's monitoring our progress? They go, Tucker and Todd have joined Abaddon Prime, sir.
Oh, is somebody delivering the news directly to Basilbub? Does Basilbub have enough of a personal investment in us to get that news directly to him?
Oh, no, I was saying at Fantasology, somebody's delivering the news to Jeff Bridges.
Oh, well, I suppose since Jeff Bridges is running a smaller operation, he would have a much more hands-on approach. So yes, that information could be delivered directly to him, and he would be all like, "Oh, dang!" And so it's time for him to start either trying to get us out of Abaddon Prime or to start moving on Abaddon Prime more directly.
And he might not necessarily know who we are. I'm trying to think of a movie. I feel like there's a movie in which people keep crossing paths, and then finally at one point somebody's like, "Can you tell me who the fuck are you people?" But kind of like Jeff Bridges would be aware of who Tucker and Todd are only because we were at the scene of the McConaughey showdown or whatever. And
Yeah,
so
like some knowledge of us would definitely be present there because I mean Jeff Bridges must be part of this hive mind too.
right, but not like invested or intimately. There's no dossier or anything. They just know that we're involved with the plot somehow.
Yeah, so they are probably kind of mystified as to how we actually fit into it.
Right.
Later, who the fuck are these guys?
So yeah, they got some henchmen telling Jeff Bridges at the does the Fantasology headquarters? I can't remember if we'd been. Yeah, we had been there before because we escaped with.
Oh yeah, I think we might have leveled the place, so they'll have to build a new one. So that's where they'll be.
They have a new one, and it would be maybe a little bit more angelic themed since Jeff Bridges took over, since they're rebranding.
Yeah, it would definitely be much different than the original incarnation of it. So it'll be, as you say, more angelic. Lots of plate glass.
Lots of political, yeah, more angelic, but also we're remembering that our heaven is like a sci-fi heaven where everything's all techie. So it's very Apple-y, I guess. It's white and chrome.
Well, I kind of figured that a lot of stuff in Abaddon Prime was very Apple-y. It's like ostentatious. I imagine that in fact stuff at Fantasology is gold.
Oh, okay.
Yes, there's a lot of gold everywhere.
Golden glass. It's like what's the Thor one? What's their heaven called?
Oh,
Asperger's.
like Asgard.
Yeah,
That was pretty good.
I couldn't remember what it's called. I knew it had the asp in it.
That would be
Asgard.
Asgard.
Yeah.
Asgard.
Asgard, yes. Which is not Isengard.
No, it's very different from Isengard.
Should we do a Tucker and Todd sketch in which they're taking the hobbits to Asgard? Is that worth doing?
Do they? Is that where they're going? The hobbits are being taken to Asgard because I think if we're gonna have hobbits, somebody has confused Tucker for a hobbit.
Oh, that's funny. Tucker gets kidnapped by some Urukai because they mistook him for a hobbit.
I mean, look at him. I mean, look at me. Does that not just scream hobbit?
We're still okay, so we're at Fantasology. Are we there?
The perspective is there.
Yeah. Do we need them to establish some sort of plot thickening device here?
Well, they're gonna have to use the jam. If
Oh.
they want to get to us, they're gonna have to use the jam in order to counteract the Abaddon virus. Either that, or they're going to try to find another way to sabotage Abaddon Prime stuff while we are busy basically self-destructing with our assumed success. So we're basically going to completely fail to be in any way useful to Abaddon Prime, which, if you recall, they only swallow up the useful and successful ones. They discard the rest, which means we're going to wind up getting out of our contract due to incompetence.
Oh, does Stan's get absorbed because it's successful and we get jealous because
Oh, has Stan been making one behind our back this whole time? That's way funnier. We're like just presuming success. We're behaving like it, and then like behind our back, Stan is actually winning.
yeah.
That's way funnier. And yeah, his gets absorbed and taken away, and he's really mad about it. And since he's a teddy bear, he doesn't have a soul, so he the only thing he actually loses is his media platform.
Interesting. And we're upset because so you said our contract got broken by them?
Well, yeah, because if you recall, we decided that part of the terms of service in the contract dictated that if our media platform is successful, it gets absorbed into Abaddon Prime. If it's not successful, it gets discarded. And that's what
Right.
happens to ours. Ours will just be discarded. Our contract will be canceled due to our lack of success. So we're going to go back to just what we were doing before. But before it gets canceled, in the meantime, we're going to pretend like it's massively successful. We're going to host a party, a big party.
To celebrate its success?
Yeah, absolutely. There will be champagne and all that shit, and just eventually we're gonna party so hard that well, I mean, we're in denial, obviously. That's what it is. We're just like in a perpetual state of denial, and we just party and celebrate so that we never actually have to face the fact that we aren't actually successful.
So when did the party occur though? What purpose does the party serve for the plot?
It's part of our, self-destruction.
So is this before or after we've had our contract terminated?
Oh, way before. This is immediately after we've had it signed.
Oh,
Remember, we're basking in our success that we don't
when
have.
we're high on our hogs.
Yeah, so we're like having a big part. Celebrities come to it. Like we're inviting everybody and somehow getting them to come. Abaddon Prime gets them to come, probably.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's a big superficial party. But are we also inviting people that we are actively trying to recruit at the same time? Are we inviting close friends to be like to do the MLM thing?
Become our followers. Attach your media project to ours. That kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah. Of course, we're We're trying to
recruiting.
recruit people, and of course, we have a bunch of other Abaddon Prime distributors and stuff at our party, along with all of the celebrity spokespeople. If
Okay.
anything, it's an Abaddon Prime event, and we aren't actually at the forefront of it, but we're pretending it is because it's at our studio.
Is okay, so is that when it cuts away? So maybe that's interesting. At that point, a bunch of people is that at that the party when all the people start signing up with Stan? Is that where Stan starts getting really successful? We invite all these cool
Yeah,
people over
that's perfect. We invite them for us, and they go with Stan.
because we're so unlikable and Stan's cute and adorable.
He's a fucking scarred up chain smoking teddy bear who talks like he's from New Jersey and smokes 8 bajillion cigarettes a day. And somehow everybody still likes him better.
And so is that so Stan starts getting successful, and is it the next morning when Stan finds out that, like, after that party kind of thing moving forward, Stan finds out, wow, I'm going up to the big leagues, boys, and then he finds out that he doesn't actually, there are no big leagues to go on to.
He thinks he's going up to the big leagues. He's been summoned to Abaddon Prime to speak with Basilbub. By the time he comes home, he's going to be very upset because he's lost it all.
Is that where we cut to the Fantasology headquarters perspective, and they're like, wow, this Abaddon Prime situation is getting out of hand? What is the end of this whole bit? Is it a showdown between the Jeffs?
Well, I don't know if the showdown between the Jeffs will occur tonight, but Stan loses his platform. It gets absorbed into Abaddon, and Stan is fired. Because they don't need to keep you, they just need your followers and all that.
Right.
And since ours fails to get any traction, even after that great big party that was basically supposed to be able to help us get a bunch of people going, uh, we probably get terminated. And that actually eliminates the main cast from this fight.
Yeah, because you said after we get terminated, we just go back to what we're doing.
Yes, we go back to what we're doing, which is just regular TikTok, YouTube, all that stuff.
So
What is conventional?
is that how this story ends?
Not necessarily, but that is probably the end of the main cast's inclusion in it. Unless Tucker and Todd decide to join forces with Stan in being angry because technically everybody lost their platform, but
I feel like that's
we
a good
never
opportunity.
succeeded. We never succeeded in really getting the platform going, but we lost it, and so it's our opportunity to reconcile. First, we have to be mad at Stan. Then we can reconcile with Stan and join forces and head on over to Abaddon Prime and try to raise a stink.
Right. Yeah, I guess, yeah, I wasn't sure what was happening because if we're just tossed to the side, I feel like that's not a thing that we would get necessarily upset enough about to do anything about. But if Stan was rejected from his major success, especially if we were mad at him and then just immediately came around like, yeah, we got to fight for our buddy. We got to go down there and stick it to these guys.
Well, yeah. See, Stan gets the news that he's losing his platform before we get the news that we're losing ours. So we gloat
Oh,
that our
yeah.
rival Stan has lost, and then we get he gets summoned to get this news in person. We just get a shitty little letter sent to us. It's probably not even a letter; it's just like a text message. You're fired. So now we're mad too, and whereas
Oh,
5 minutes ago we were laughing at Stan, we're like loser. Now we're immediately attaching ourselves to his cause
right. That's better because then
because
we get punished for
yes.
gloating.
And also, we get to be total little parasites because Stan is complaining about how we got screwed, and we're like, you just lost, man, suck it up. And then we're like, we're screwed, we've been screwed, and so we jump on Stan's we've been screwed bandwagon.
When since we've all now also been screwed, does Stan get any time to kind of like laugh at it, throw it in our face? Like that's what you get for karma, sort of thing.
I
We're just
think he
laughing at me for
probably should, but I don't know if he'll do it from a high horse. He'll just be like, it looks like it's going around.
right.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be sharp enough for him to be happy or anything, because he still lost his stuff, so he's still got nothing to be happy about. But he can be a little bit less upset because at least these two dickheads lost theirs as well.
And so we decide that, well, we've all been wronged by these creeps, so we got to go down there and raise a stink, as you said.
Yes, we're gonna go over there and we're gonna march right in and start being a problem. And we're gonna find out that everybody's super cheerful attitude disappears really fast. We are now, fuck, what's the word? What is the word Scientology use for people that are bad?
Oh, not unmentionables. I I can't remember.
It was like a subversive person or something.
Oh, suppressive person.
Yeah, everybody who has their shit either taken away or terminated by Abaddon Prime immediately goes on the wall with a little picture. So we're on the list, and as soon as we enter the building, sirens probably go off. Oh, before we even enter the building, like if you remember, we had streetlights changing and all that stuff, like to make it easier for us to get there, even just
Right.
accidentally. Now all the streetlights are like making it as hard as possible for us to get there.
Oh, that's funny.
Like traffic is being redirected to prevent us from crossing the street to get there and stuff. So like we almost died just trying to get there.
I like that idea.
I mean, if they have this power, why not use it? And so we actually make it to the building, but of course we're all covered in cartoony scuff marks and stuff. Our hair's out of whack, and we've very nearly been hit by several cars. And we finally walk in, and then bad person alerts, sirens go off.
Does the building go into like lockdown sort of situation?
I think it should go into full lockdown like you see in Dread.
Do we make it through the front doors and it locks us down inside, or it locks down before we can get in the doors?
If it locks us down inside, then that's going to turn this into a two-parter because I don't know how we're going to get out of there.
Yeah, I really don't know. I don't want to do every single story to be a two-parter. I would like to wrap this up.
I don't know if the last one was a two-parter. I think we just fed Carlos to a carnivorous plant and
Oh
called it
yeah,
a
I
day.
forgot. That's true.
Nobody was sad. Okay, so it gets all super locked down for sure. But on the other hand, I also think that they wouldn't want to keep us there. They would want to get rid of us. Like the last thing we would want to leave and they would want us to leave. So the last thing they would want is for us to be trapped in their building with them. So that's probably a non-issue. We won't be in there with them for long. But we're definitely going to be like, well, we signed that contract in blood. And I have to scream, so much blood.
I like that.
Because like some of it's still over there on the floor, just like so much blood. I put so much blood and tears and blood into this.
Oh, that is funny. Yeah, there's so much blood. It cuts to another angle of you like motioning, gesturing at the sidewalk. There's still stains from last week.
Yeah, there's still so much blood. Somewhere over in the corner, there's a janitor mopping at one of my blood puddles. He has been for the last 8 minutes. It's not really working. For some reason, it's still
Oh,
wet.
yes, that guy. Okay, there's a janitor who's still mopping up some blood, and then whatever the end of this whole bit is ends with even more blood being shed and cut to the janitor throwing down his mop and quitting his job.
Yeah, I like that. Somehow Tucker gets cut again and starts bleeding all over the place. I
It's
think
Tucker again.
Yeah, Tucker is just like a bleeder. I don't know. Now that it's funny, I don't want to stop doing it. He just like accidentally cuts that spot above on his forehead or above his eyebrow or near his hairline, and he just starts squirting blood on the wall. And they just have to shoo us out of the building. They're like, just get out, get out, get out.
Is that and so
Oh, I
are
know
we?
exactly how too. I'm gonna
Okay,
slip in one of my already existing blood puddles that are still wet for some reason, and I bonk my head on the counter nearby,
it
and
just
it
opens up
cuts
a
my
vein.
forehead, and I start squirting blood. I start bleeding on other people's contracts. I bleed like directly into a receptionist's face. Just why not go all the way, just like it's going everywhere. And this poor bastard mopping the blood, he just goes wide-eyed and mouth agape. And he drops his broom and he just stares in horror as Tucker bleeds everywhere.
While the music from the Shining opening plays,
Yeah, why not?
we don't
And
get an
so,
actual elevator, but
no, but oh no, but we can have a repeat of that scene when the front doors open
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and we get swept out by my blood.
And, oh, as we descend the steps, the front steps, and it's like that scene from what is it, the third Black Pirates of the Caribbean, as he's descending the stairs and the ship is being blown up around him in slow motion. We just this gush of red blood is swirling around us as we just glide down the stairs.
Yeah, yeah. And now everything is covered in blood, and I probably need to be carried home.
Yes, I'm
Fortunately, I'm not squirting anymore. We're not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
well, you're all withered. You're all dried up like a raisin. I'm carrying you.
Oh, I've always wanted to be a raisin.
And you've got that little like you're still alive, but you've got that raspy I'm dying voice, and you're just kind of I'm trying to I feel like the dialogue is somewhere along the lines of like did I get him, or like, yeah, you really sowed some chaos, buddy.
Did we win?
I'll try.
Uh,
Did we win?
we got something, all right.
You got that one lady right in the eye, right in the mouth.
Her mouth was open and everything, and you signed a lot of contracts.
That's funny.
Oh no, it's okay. They didn't have your name on. They didn't have your name on them. So
That's
yeah,
good.
that's probably how this does end. Is like we start bleeding. I start bleeding all over the place. I probably start running around in a panic, and that causes me to shoot it all over the walls, all over the ceiling, everywhere, in people's faces. The next scene, it smash cuts to right outside the doors, and it's silent for a moment, and then like whatever my screaming suddenly Doppler effects in, and then the doors swing open and we flow out, and then the last little squirt comes out. Now I'm a raisin. Did we win? And you got to carry me back home.
That is such a funny way to win. I like that everybody lost, so we we went down there to Karen ourselves, and then what we just ended up doing was just bleeding so hard that everybody lost, and that's how it ends. That's how we that's how we won.
Yeah, there's nothing left to do after that. We basically just kind of I get carried back to the apartment. Fortunately, traffic obeys this time. Stan is all bloodstained. He squeaks behind us because he's a squeaky toy bear.
Yeah, traffic actually sort of parts around us because they're disgusted by little withered Tucker.
Yeah, so we make it back to the studio, and we probably just kind of settle in and be like, well, I guess we didn't win, and everybody lost. Everybody? Everybody. And then it cuts back to the janitor, the guy who was mopping up the blood. He breaks his broom over his knee, and he hands both pieces to the receptionist with blood in her eyes, and he's like, I quit, I'm out of here.
And then, oh, so yeah, everybody lost, and then it cuts to a line from Caddyshack, and Cody giggles along.
Oh yeah, that seems that
Everybody
seems
lost
like
except
a
Cody.
that seems like a pretty good Cody thing. Like we're gonna come back and he's watching Caddyshack.
He's the only one that didn't lose anything.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, we've made sure that Abaddon Prime has suffered because they need to shut down that whole first floor. And gosh, I sure hope Tucker doesn't have any bloodborne illnesses.
Well, I don't know. I guess were we infected with the Abaddon Prime virus?
We were kind of, but it didn't work very well, and everybody there already had it.
Right.
So, but I guess all the blood that came pouring
You
out
bled it
down
out.
the stairs is slightly infectious with their hive mind virus,
I suppose so.
unless it was so ineffective that our immune systems eventually just like destroyed it. But I think it's a little bit more funny if somehow, in fact, my blood synthesized a new variant of it, and Jeff Bridges comes by to take a sample of my blood.
Oh, as the final scene, Jeff Bridges pops up. There's a new variant, boys. I need a test.
Yeah, because just like Basilbub sent people to go collect the jam, now Jeff Bridges is sending people to go collect my blood, and that's probably
Okay.
the best place to end that because it's kind of cliffhangery, but it doesn't necessarily require a two-parter. We can pick that up whenever.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like it when we establish kind of plot lines. Yeah, that is a plot line that can be picked up later. It doesn't have to be an immediate sequel.
And boy, oh boy, did I sure leave them a big sample. There's probably so much blood that they can pick it up with a shovel.
And that's also a decent, that's kind of like a Back to the Future ending. The burst through the door with the new problem.
Yeah, yeah, because Jeff Bridges is like, this might just be the edge we needed.
I
Quick,
like it.
pick it up.
That's everything tied up in a little bow.
Yeah, except for Raisin Tucker, who I guess I don't know, maybe he just needs to eat some oatmeal crunch cereal or something. This podcast is not sponsored.
Oh, are you still withered by the time we get home?
Oh yeah, for sure. Cody's probably curious about what the hell happened to me.
Then we should have you, I don't know, hooked up to an IV or something. We should have some sort of process that you're in the middle of. Treatment.
I do think that there are two options. You can either put me into some kind of tube filled with liquid with an oxygen mask on my face where I just kind of float in this amniotic fluid that's going to regenerate me, or I need to
Wow.
be hooked up to an IV.
I was gonna say it's something even more rudimentary, like it's like it's school nurse solutions. You have like an ice bag, or you have peas on your eye, or something like something. You're you're doing something totally unrelated.
Leeches.
Ooh, that's funny. You have leeches to solve your lack of blood.
Yeah, they're all starving to death.
Straight woman's like, "Are those leeches?" And we're like, "No, these are blood spitters.
Ew.
They're giving you blood." What's the?
I think I should. I think I like the IV best. I just like get hooked up to an IV on the couch, sit next to Cody, watch.
What's in that IV? Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid? Fortified Kool-Aid. Fortified with what? Bourbon and cigarettes.
Yeast. Cigarettes.
Yeah, Stan made it.
That's funny. I do like the idea. Stan just emptied a bunch of cigarettes into the IV bag.
Fresh cigarettes and his ashtray. So it's got butts and ashes in there, and also he poured a quart of bourbon into it, and so yeah, I'm definitely gonna fucking die, but at least it was funny.
Or you take your new superhero form.
Yeah, I think Tucker's probably just going to remain a hobbit, but he's got cartoon durability.
Well, do you have any more tags for that one?
No, I think I agree with you that that's been tied up quite neatly.
Well, I think this was a fairly successful. Oh boy, I just failed.
Yeah, well, it
Ruined
was
the
anyway.
treat.
It was all right. Now it's awful.
This was a successful recording.
This has been a successful recording. You've been Todd.
And you've been Tucker.
And this has been a podcast.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, Craig.
You mean little old me?
Fuck Tucker. Tucker sucks. And fuck Tucker's friend, Todd.